CherieHanson here, and we are sitting on the 21st. This is going to be the longest, darkest night of the year. And I was thinking, as I was sitting in the cold water today, if you don't get an idea to talk about, just go sit in cold water for 10, 11 minutes. It's amazing as the blood is squeezed out of your legs and your lower extremity and your hands, how your brain seems to fill up with thoughts. It's kind of magical. And the rituals I have for grounding are so helpful for me as we go through this time that we can't name. There's no name for it. There's no understanding of it. It's impossible. It's just wacky. So I was sitting in the cold water watching the inflammation leave and squeeze up into my brain where ideas were coming. And I thought about how during disaster times you're asked to have a strong flashlight. So then my mind went to, the strong flashlight, and the phrase came in to me. The flashlight of optimism. I could see in myself that I had that flashlight of optimism. When I go through things, I don't minimize them. I don't refuse to feel them. But I also know how amazingly resilient I have been in my life, and that this too shall pass. So what that brought me to was this sense that we don't know how strong our batteries are. We don't know how clear the path of light is, how it defines shapes and walls and spaces and pathways and safe passages until we're in the dark. There he is, his tawdness. Once we're in the dark, we absolutely see how strong our vision has been that leads us to a state of trust in your own heart, trust in the universe, trust in other human beings, that they can be lights as well, that we're all in this together, that we are shining out love, that we are creating something new. And so having the dark, having things go dark where you don't know what you're seeing and what is happening, and I always talk about put a label on it. You know, it's like put a ring on it, put a label on it. I can only know what this is if I have experienced it before. Is a very limiting way of living, and it will make your flashlight flutter, become dim, not be strong enough. We are in a state now where I frequently talk about this. We are like explorers setting out on an uncharted ocean in a boat that we hope to hell will keep us upright. And so this sense of dread, this sense of I'm not enough, or, haven't I suffered enough? The victim mind, which puts us down into that golem personality. I mean, Tolkien was so right. We once is it, we does. And that's what happens when we're in a state where we don't trust ourselves and we don't trust our abilities. We don't trust our optimism and our light to get us through the things we need to go through in order to get to something new. And so I was thinking about how much more peaceful it is to be in a place where I just trust it. I just trust what's unfolding. It's something new. And if all of us are shining a light, are shining out with this clear white light that reveals shape shifting, reveals the energy shifting, then we are creating a better earth. We are creating a better place to live. The other thing that I was really thinking about today is about the whole process of change. The changes I've seen in my life. I could probably build a fire among rocks and have young people sitting around me talking to them about, the Korean War and the Vietnam War and, the Iraqi War and just, the divorces, the debt, the struggle, the surgeries. Let me tell you all these tales. But the purpose of the tales and the purpose of the experience is not to make myself a victim. The purpose of surviving, of pushing through, of trusting yourself, of trusting your vision, of trusting your boat, is that you can be in a new place as a new person. And this is something we know so much. I just was reminded about the research in the 1970s. If you haven't heard this, listen up. Take out a piece of paper and something to write with and write it down. Is there proof that we can attach to different lifelines, as Bashar says, as quantum physics says? Yes, there is. Because people who have dissociative disorder can go from having a birthmark when they're in one personality, and the birthmark will disappear when another personality comes in to inhabit the body. People can have a surgery scar in one personality, and then when they shift to another personality, the surgery scar is not there because that timeline that they are on and that they have experienced doesn't exist for this body. It's another hallway that has been experienced. Things like allergies. One personality can have a terrible allergy. The other personality does not have allergies. One person can have, very feeble eyesight and need glasses. Another personality doesn't need glasses. They can see perfectly well with just their eyeballs all nude without a windshield in front of them. So think about that for a minute. If you have the shell of yourself, this body, and there are layers to it. There are the experiences that you've had in this life. There are the things you've told yourself about the experiences you've had in this life. There are the ham-handed, just unskilled slamming away, trying to like get an oyster out of an oyster shell or a pearl out of an oyster shell, trying to find out who you are. The thing that's interesting is we're not one thing. We don't stay as one thing. So when you're in a state of recovering from trauma, or when you are in a state of, recovering from surgery, or when you are in a state of recovering from your own mind stories, what we know for sure is you can step into this other hallway of existence. I am here as a victim. I am here as a traumatized child. I am here as someone who is work addicted, who is, codependent, who suffers emotionally at every setback. Or I am here as someone who has consciously rewired my mind habits. The flashlight of optimism that you have is something you picked up. It doesn't just come from Amazon, especially now with the strike. Yay, Amazon workers, go for it. It is something you picked up. And this is exactly how I see personal growth. You can walk along a path and you can pick up a boulder. You can pick up a memory of suffering. You can pick up a memory of poverty. You can pick up the family inherited trauma, broken branch that's so heavy you can barely carry it. Or you can go along and you can be mindful of what you're picking up. What am I picking up? I'm picking up the shiny stone. I'm picking up the white stone with sparkles in it. What am I seeing? I'm seeing beauty. I'm seeing kindness. I'm seeing moments of such gentle, compassionate care of one person for another. And I'm picking those up. And I'm stuffing those in my pockets and up my sleeve and through my eyes and into a brain habit of what my reality is becoming. And the one thing I want us to really focus on is we are always becoming. We are never static. We think we're static, but it's not true. We're moving, we're changing, we're shifting. Our energies are flowing. We're picking up things, we're keeping things, we're sending out things. So to be in a place where we know that we're actually building who we are with our thoughts and with what we have stuffed in our pockets, what happens is when it gets dark, let's go back, let's circle back. When it gets dark, your flashlight it may be just this big, but man, does it ever shine out. It shows you the shape of things. It shows you how to avoid smacking into a wall. It shows you how to avoid falling into the pit of despair or the quagmire of your past narrative of victimhood. It gives you a way to choose your steps mindfully, carefully. And then when you're there, you trust yourself. You trust your abilities. You trust your thoughts. And oh man, is that ever a better way to live than letting what some big fat bully baby politician or another big fat bully baby politician thinks they're creating. They are not in my reality. They're simply the old system trying really, really hard to keep its grip on our minds. So the Postal Service doesn't deliver mail. That's okay. Things are shifting. So Amazon goes on strike. That's okay. Things are shifting. So my app doesn't work. That's okay. Things are shifting. Where's your confidence coming from if it's tied to, this hurricane? Like, oh my God, everything's in the air and it's turning around and around. But that's not where you find your security and your safety. You find your security and your safety inside of you and in your own mind habits. So when the darkness comes, ask yourself, how strong is the shining out of my optimism? And that helps a lot. It really does. So that's what came to me today in the wonderful 10 degrees Celsius cold soak. And I say, we go through the dark night and then we head toward the light again. But did you go up and down like somebody in an elevator that's operated by, a monkey on speed? No, you don't. You don't go up and down depending on the outside world. Find your high vibration and stay in it. Think about all the things I've talked about today, about how much what you believe you are manifests in your body, in your physicality, in your choices, in your pessimism, or in your optimism. And start building those neurons. It's fine. Todd taught me that. When it gets really cold and there's a lot of snow and he doesn't want to go outside, he just goes, nope, just curl up into an adorable little cat cinnamon roll and go to sleep. We will get through this. We're not going to start, tearing the fur off or walking around going insane. I think the thing that cats, dogs, and other animals have is they are gifted without a sense of self. We are cursed with a sense of self until we get to the place where we understand that we can create our sense of self. We can give birth to that, and that's through our mind habits. So that's what I've got to say today. If you would like a coaching session, if you would like a psychic reading, a card reading, get a hold of me. And what we would do is we would go through what I'm reading about you, your energy, things you've gone through that have impacted on you and have been kind of a handicap that's slowing you down. And then we would draw up a life plan based on what you want to see of the future you. It's quite nice. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for the thumbs up, for the kind, encouraging comments. They mean a lot to me. I'm just sitting in this bunker upstairs with my Todd teacher, my life coach. And, I'm in a place where when you encourage me, it means a lot. It really gives me a lot of energy. So I just want to reiterate, I appreciate you.